Flowers are cool. That's why I feel like I'm the luckiest man alive, because I've been able to work with flowers all my life. You know, if you're thinking about becoming a florist or having a career in some aspect of the floral industry, there are two qualities that are necessary. The first is you have to love people, because people have emotions, and that's what flowers are all about. And the second thing is you have to like working with your hands, because actually these two things on the ends of our arms, they make everything. As a florist or a floral designer, what you are doing is taking the emotions from one person and transferring those emotions to another person. And so that offers us an opportunity to be creative. You notice I didn't mention creativity as that one of those two necessary things. Everybody has creativity. What we have to do is educate ourselves and learn a little bit about the elements and principles of design, which are the guidelines that will help us create something beautiful and appealing and stable. The elements and principles of design do not change. What changes is our taste, our preferences, and our newer techniques and newer materials to work with. Satisfaction for the customer is based on how long the flowers last and how nice they look and how appropriate they are for the occasion. The very first thing that a person needs to know about flowers, which are the materials we work with, is what categories they fit into. There are 4 categories: line, mass, filler, and form. And those 4 categories can fit together like pieces in a puzzle. This makes a design more interesting, and it gives it more diversity and eye appeal. The first category would be line flowers. Line flowers are defined as a stem with several blooms and buds along the stem, which create a line. This I'm holding is stock, S-T-O-C-K. Other examples of line flowers would be bells of Ireland, and you can see the shape of the line is different. Other familiar flowers to you would be snapdragons, cattails, delphinium, larkspur. There are a good number of line flowers. Most line flowers can be grown in the garden. Most line flowers are taller or longer stemmed. Most line flowers give more show for the doe. Most line flowers are good to create a skeleton in a design, and a skeleton would be the first stem placement that establishes the shape of the design. The second category of flower shapes is mass. A mass flower is defined as a solid head at the end of a stem. And so a carnation is a perfect example of a mass flower. Mass flowers are used to put meat on the bones. So if we have a skeleton established with line flowers, we add volume with the mass flowers. Carnations, roses, of course, are excellent examples of mass flowers. Third category would be form. The definition of a form flower is any flower whose shape is its most dramatic feature. And so lilies would be an example. It doesn't matter if you're looking at this flower from the side view, the back, or the face, it's got a dramatic shape. And this shape only shows off to the best advantage when there's some space around it. Most form flowers are more expensive. Filler flowers, we have many, many filler flowers, and the word filler is the same as the definition. These flowers are used to fill in between the other flowers, fill up the space in between them. And the definition of a filler flower would be any flower that has clusters of blossoms. And this is a spraymum, a chrysanthemum. We have baby's breath, of course, the ultimate example of a filler flower, known also as gypsophila. We have alstroemeria, which again is a cluster of small blooms. So this qualifies as a filler flower. If we look at foliage, then we have the same four categories. So line would be first, and I have an example here of a sansevieria leaf, which is a long line. Iris leaves, cattail leaves, we have a lot of foliages that are simple, long, clean lines. And they would be used in a design to increase the line. This is agnosta, which is another plant material that comes in from Australia and New Zealand. It would definitely qualify as a filler because it's many little leaves grouped and clustered on many stems, and so it would be used to fill in between the other flowers. So I have examples of line foliage, filler foliage. This is known as flat fern in the floral industry, and it's almost always used as a backing for a fan-shaped design or a funeral spray. And so it's used as if it would be a mass foliage. The shape of it doesn't necessarily agree with the definition of mass flowers, but most mass foliages would be broad leaves that are used as a backing behind other flowers, just to provide a background. And then we have Springeri fern. And so if this is going to be shooting out of a design by itself, it'll be considered a form because it's acting as a form in the composition. So the foliages don't have quite as clear-cut of an example of definition as do the flowers. One of the first things then that a person needs to understand and learn, not only the names of the flowers, but the categories of shape that they fit into. And then you can think about how you want to use those flowers in a composition.